Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular council meeting for April 13th, 2021. Again, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank people joining us via the Zoom link, and also like to remind people that once the meeting is over, the recording will be available on our website. The link can be found in the same location where you got the agenda. So again, thank you for attending. Before we get going, I'd just like to let everyone know who is attending the Zoom call from the council perspective. So from councillors, we've got Deputy Mayor Buckle, we've got Councillor Jim Joy, Councillor Kim Ganney, and Councillor Sadie King. Councillor Mayette sends his regrets. He had another commitment he had to attend to this evening. And from a staff perspective, we've got Steve Martin, Krista Turnbull, Gary Corbett, Marjorie Gibbons, Maurice Searle, and Bob Bauer. So we'll get into the agenda. So item number one, I'd like to call the meeting to order and have the adoption of the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move that, Deputy Mayor.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by?
Councillor Ganney.
Councillor King. Okay.
Seconded by Councillor Ganney. Any discussion? Okay. If no discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All those against? Okay, that motion is carried. Item number two, adoption of the minutes from the March 23rd, 2021 meeting. Any errors or omissions? So if there's no errors or omissions, we'll adopt those as presented. Item three, business arising. Anybody have any business arising from the minutes? Okay, it's no business arising. Item number four, correspondence. So this evening, I'd like to bring to your attention a letter we received from the Emergency Services Division, which is a part of Justice and Public Safety with the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. So in relation to Snowmageddon in 2020, the town of Holyrood did submit a claim to the government in relation to additional costs that were incurred during the storm for snow clearing and other things that popped up. So I'm happy to inform everybody that our request or our submitted proposal for $31,755.75 has been approved by the government. We received that notification just yesterday by letter, and they've told us that that money will be deposited in our bank account in the next 14 days. So a very positive piece of correspondence from the government. Great that they're giving out some money to help towns with the unprecedented snow conditions that we experienced in January of 2020 due to the event we all will remember as Snowmageddon. So that's the piece of correspondence that's on the agenda. So moving right along to a proclamation. Just let me haul the proclamation up. So this proclamation was brought to my attention by Natalie McDonald. Natalie is the owner of Modern Dental Hygiene, and Natalie brought it to my attention that the week of April 4th to the 10th is being recognized as National Dental Hygienist Week. So in relation to that, obviously that the date I just read out was last week, so we didn't have a public meeting during that week. So we did make mention of the National Dental Hygienist Week on our website and Facebook. But this evening we'll be reading a proclamation on their behalf. So here goes the proclamation. Whereas 59% of Canadian children and 96% of adults have experienced cavities, and 21% of Canadian adults have experienced gum issues. And whereas research shows a direct link between oral health and overall health and well-being, such as periodontal disease being linked to a number of serious illnesses, including lung disease, diabetes, and heart disease. And whereas oral health issues are easily preventable and treatable, and Canadians, especially children and seniors, can be greatly assisted through early detection and intervention. And whereas dental hygienist. Dental hygiene is the sixth largest registered health profession in Canada, with 30,219 registered dental hygienists working in a variety of settings, with people of all ages addressing issues related to oral health. And whereas greater awareness of proper oral health practices and the need to regularly visit a dental professional is paramount to ensuring Canadians lead healthier and happier lifestyles. And whereas promoting the importance of the issues and celebrating the successes of the profession and contributions of dental hygienists will lead to increased public awareness. Now, I therefore, Kevin Costello, Mayor of the town of Holyrood, do hereby proclaim the week of April 4th to the 10th as National Dental Hygienist Week. So that's the proclamation. Again, I'd like to thank Natalie for bringing that to our attention. Modern Dental Hygiene is located at 363 Conception Bay Highway, or in the Eastern Health Building. So thanks for that, Natalie. Next, we'll move on to the Mayor's update. So a few items I want to bring to everyone's attention tonight. So as some of you may or may not be aware, in the past number of probably weeks and months, we've been experiencing some acts of vandalism, and this is definitely not acceptable in our town. The damage to property includes murals at the boardwalk, and it's definitely a faint-hearted act of inappropriate behavior, which is not welcome in our town at all. The constant harassment of those targeted in the graffiti is of great concern to us and should be a concern for all residents. These types of targeted behavior, which can lead to serious safety concerns for all of us. Council, as well as every single resident, needs to ensure our town remains a safe place to live and raise our families. So what I'm asking for everybody tonight is, on behalf of myself and my council colleagues, I'm asking anybody that has information in relation to these acts to please reach out to the RCMP or the town. This will give us the opportunity to try and stop this nonsense. The RCMP do have an active case file on this issue. They have also enacted the help of Crime Stoppers to gather anonymous tips, and Crime Stoppers is offering a reward for information that can lead to the arrest and conviction of the persons or people responsible for this. So again, I'd like to ask everybody's help in helping us put a stop to this. Also, on a much more positive note, I would like to pass on some gratitude to our Holyrood, some members of our Holyrood Fire Department. In November of 2020, Fire Department members, Acting Lieutenant Leslie Kenny, Acting Lieutenant Brandy Ralph, firefighters Kyle Hocko, Mark Maloney, and Brittany Power signed up for their NFPA 1041 Emergency Professional Instructor Certificate from the Marine Institute. I would like to thank the members for their commitment to the Holyrood Fire Department, and also committing quite a time commitment to this as well to get this program completed. This is definitely very positive progression in our ability to train our members to the highest possible standards for the difficult tasks that they all face to undertake. So again, from council and staff and myself, thank you very much, Leslie, Brandy, Kyle, Mark, and Brittany. Job well done. Keep up the good work, and your hard work is definitely not going unnoticed. Also, in relation to this, Marjorie Gibbons volunteered her time as well to supervise this exam. So thanks to Marjorie again for the efforts there and helping the firefighters, get through their, not help them get through their exam, but supervising that exam. So thanks once again. The last piece of information I'd like to pass along. So in my closing remarks last week, I let everyone know we were supposed to meet with Marine Institute. So that meeting happened. It was a very good meeting. Basically, we met with a lot of the management contributors to the project that's ongoing here in Holyrood, the Phase 2B construction of the new building on the Northside Road. So we have council got a really good update. We're waiting for some information to be sent from Marine Institute to council, and once we receive that, we're definitely going to share it with everybody because it's pretty interesting. As you know, the building is under construction now. We can see that, but there's a lot of things ongoing in the harbor which we can't see, and one of those is a 2-kilometer fiber optic cable, which was laid about a month and a half ago, and it extends from the Marine Institute building in Holyrood all the way out through the harbor. And at the end of that cable, there's a small subsea structure, and on the structure, there's an array of sensors, and there's also a video camera. And some of the information we're waiting for MI to send to us will actually be an internet link where residents can go, click on this link, and actually look at real-time video footage from the camera on the seabed in Holyrood. So you will actually be able to see Mr. Crab walking by, or you'll probably be able to see your fishing hook during the upcoming food fishery. So some very interesting stuff happening in Holyrood. And, Marine Institute have great plans for here. It's plans that, from what I understand, have been in the works for 10 or 15 years. And, they're seriously striving to be the hub for ocean sector activity in Atlantic Canada and Canada in general. So just wanted to make everyone aware of some of the work that's going on at the Marine Institute. So that's my update for this week. Any questions or comments from anybody on council? Okay, with that being said, we'll move to item 7, planning and development. So I'll pass it to Councillor Gani to present some motions.
Thank you. Our first item is a permit listing. Be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit listing. 4 permits issued from March 22nd to April 5th, 2021. Permit number 03-0324-21 to number 03-0328-21. Those would be inclusive of things like site permits, general repairs, occupancy permit, those types of things. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gani. Could I get a seconder, please?
Councillor King.
Seconded by Councillor King. Discussion? So I'd just like to reiterate the fact that Councillor Gani brought up there. This is more of a general permit listing. This is not something that comes to council staff deal with these. There's quite a number. The numbering system is quite funny there, but that's the numbering system that we've gone with. So if there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And all those against? Motion is carried.
Okay, next item. Location is 9 Liam Hickey Drive, zoning RMD, proposal residential. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the Town of Holyrood development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gani. Could I get a seconder, please?
Councillor King.
Seconded by Councillor King. Discussion? Okay. If there is no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next
And
item.
all those against?
Sorry.
Motion is carried. Continue on, Councillor Gani.
Thank you. 7 McGraw's Road, it's a variance. Be it resolved to approve a 10% variance for 7 McGraw's Road. The variance was distributed to residents in the immediate area with no comments received by the deadline date. So moved.
So motion is moved by Councillor Gani. Could I get a seconder?
Deputy
Mayor.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Discussion? Okay. If there's no discussion, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion is carried. Next item.
Okay, the final item for planning and development is around vending regulations. Be it resolved to amend the current mobile vendor and canteen regulations by adding the following to the definition of vendor. A vendor shall also include daily rentals from a mobile trailer or kiosk for bicycles, kayaks, canoes, paddleboards, etc. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Ganny. Could I get a seconder again?
Deputy Mayor.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Discussion.
Most of our vendors focus on food delivery, grocery, vegetables, that kind of thing. But given interest in a variety of other recreational pursuits, we are putting forth this resolution this evening to include other options within the town.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Ganny. And we'll move to a vote on this one as well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion is carried. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Ganny, for that. Next, we'll move along to recreation and community events, which I think you're up again.
I am indeed. Thank you. Just a few recaps, few items for informational purposes. So from Easter, we did have the virtual Easter activity club, which was a great success with 21 children in total. And we want to thank Get Messy for leading each activity throughout the week. We had a 12 days of Easter egg hunt, which was well received as well. And the winners included Noah Woodford, Jackson Pletner, Amelia Costello, and Heather Scott. So we want to thank everyone who played along for that event. The next item is around the Crystal Dip. With public safety and the best interest of residents in mind, the committee has decided to cancel the Crystal Dip for this year, given the uncertain nature of COVID restrictions and the desire to avoid attracting large numbers of people together in a gathering during a pandemic. That said, we will, however, be working on arranging a food drive, eliciting help from some of our community partners for both the food bank and the Little Free Pantry in the coming weeks. And we are still committed to having both groups as the beneficiaries of next year's Crystal Dip, as we believe it is a great cause, and these initiatives are led by and supported by extraordinary residents, and there's a lot of community support that can't go unrecognized. So we hope that everyone who has the means to do so will support the food drive when it is rolled out in the coming weeks. Next item is Forever Young Active for Life program. We would like to welcome back all of our Active for Life participants. The Recreation Department was very pleased to be able to kick off a 10-week COVID-friendly Active for Life program this week, which is now sold out. And we'd like to offer thanks to the Royal Canadian Legion for the use of their facility. Looking forward, Squid Fest. We are getting a lot of questions on this year's festival. We started having discussions on what we can look at for Squid Fest 32. And ultimately, the decision or not to have Squid Fest will rely heavily on public health measures and restrictions in place by the Department of Health as we lead into the summer. As government guidelines are updated in the coming months, we'll provide an update to residents on this year's festival as the planning continues. Next item is the Summer Day Camp and the CBC Summer Soccer Program. It is our intention to host both a Camp Ahoy Summer Day Camp program, and a CBC Summer Soccer program. Staff have completed application for use of Holy Cross Elementary, and approval for use of this facility is necessary in the ability to run the programs. Staff are reviewing government guidelines, and we'll have an update on both programs in the coming weeks. For student hiring, application process for summer student jobs is now complete, and those selected for an interview will be notified in the next few weeks as well. And the final item for update is the Holyrood Community Garden. The Holyrood Community Garden Committee met this week to ramp up the facility for this year's growing season, and last year's gardeners can expect notice on plot rentals this week. Once the process is complete, the committee will be advertising for new gardeners looking to get involved this year. Residents can expect increased beautification to the community garden, and our committee will provide a further update as to what will be completed at the next public council meeting. And that is the update from Recreation Community Events.
Thanks, Councillor Ganny. Definitely some good initiatives going on in the Recreation and Community Events Department. Too bad Crystal Dip is cancelled.
Sad.
But, it is what it is. We got to keep the safety of everybody at our forefront for sure. And hopefully we can continue or get back to some sort of normalcy and have some Squidfest events if all goes well. Thanks for that. So moving right along, item number 9, Infrastructure and Public Works. Councillor Joy, can you give us your update, please?
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll deal firstly with the update, 9A. I noted at the last public meeting that I would bring a recommendation forward at the next pre-meet for discussions and decisions on specific projects. So that was done at the pre-meet for this public meeting last Tuesday, and I will read motions on some of these projects shortly. I'm very pleased that Council has decided to move on these road upgrade projects, which have been problem areas for a while. Northside Road at Maloney's Lane has seen a hole or a drop developing in the road for some time due to deterioration of culverts there. Tender for replacement of culverts and upgrade of road has been sent out and it's closing on the 16th, which is Friday of this week. Kennedy's Lane in 2 sections needed to be dealt with due to washouts and deterioration of culverts. On the midsection, we will be given approval to consultant to complete a design which will see a replaced rock covering along the ditches and possible gabions installed there. I will read the motion for awarding a contract to replace culverts and upgrade the pavement on the lower section momentarily. These projects, just want to note that these projects are very expensive and give you an indication of what costs are involved in dealing with aging infrastructure. Going on to another project, the upgrading of Northside Road in the area of the Armstrong Wall along the shoreline is another project being discussed. This will be further discussed at a meeting on April the 23rd in conjunction with a concept plan for development of that area. As well, a starting date is being discussed for the upgrade of the water line on Country Pad. I should hear something further on this in the next few weeks. Soccer field update has been released. Soccer field update tender, has been released. Closing date is April 13th, and that's today, actually. Moving on, another area being worked on through Robert, our director, is the development of policy relating to infrastructure and public works. We want to be consistent and have clear information available to residents on provision of service. There are a number of other projects relating to upgrading and paving sections of roads and other type projects that will be reported on at our next meeting. And our next meeting will be on Monday, April the 19th, the committee meeting. So that's the completion of the update, 9A, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Joy, for the update.
So I'll move on to...
Yep. Let's move on to those motions, yeah.
There's a number of motions there tonight. Very pleased actually to bring these forward. We've been working through these for a while, and this will give approval to have these projects move forward. One of the things our focus is, as I noted in previous updates, was to have projects ready and have the approval in place. So construction on those will start early. So there's several here. Bear with me, but they're all for improved infrastructure and as a result, improved service for our residents. So 9B, culvert replacement policy. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood approved the culvert installation policy HP-001. This policy will ensure culvert governance and regulations are followed, in the long-term planning for the town of Holyrood. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Joy. Could I get a seconder on this motion, please?
Councillor King.
Seconded by Councillor King. Discussion? Okay. If no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those against? Motion is carried. All right, Councillor Joy, item C.
Move on to item C. Kennedy's Lane washout, stormwater mitigation, undeveloped middle section is the title of this motion. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood award innovative engineering and project management and engineering consulting contract totaling $9,721.69, HSC included, to provide engineering pre-design, including design and contract documents to address the Kennedy's Lane washout. So I'll move that motion, and then I'll comment on it in a minute. So move, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Councillor Joy. Could I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Ganny.
Seconded by Councillor Ganny. And discussion.
I will just some comments to start off.
Okay, go ahead.
This will enable the town of Holyrood to investigate and evaluate the conditions contributing to the Kennedy's Lane washouts and find a permanent solution to avoid further depletion of the infrastructure. Innovative engineering will review all as-built related to the present infrastructure, locate the infrastructure, and identify all issues related to that infrastructure and how to remediate the area to prevent further destruction, compromise in the safety of residents and others. This contract will provide the town with the necessary direction to correct the problem. And just want to note that back the last occurrence, I guess, there was further washout, but not to the degree it was back in September of last year when we had the major rainfall and saw so much damage done up there. So this will address that in a more permanent basis, and this has been a problem area, as I noted earlier, for a while. So that's my comment, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Joy. Anybody else have any comments? So just for myself, it's, everyone will probably notice we're spending almost $10,000 on an engineer to come and fix this problem for us. But, from my perspective, it's very important that we get the right people in here and get the correct design done this time around. There's an awful lot of water comes out of the hill up there, and with the high elevations and the grade and the ditching, it's very fast moving water and causes a lot of damage quickly. So for liability reasons for the town, it's important that we get this design done correctly this time around. So if there's no other comments, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion is carried. Item D, sir.
Okay, so on the item D is for Kennedy's Lane, the lower section of culvert replacement on Kennedy's Lane, and the three motions here related to the work to be done there. So I'll start with D1. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood approve a contract to Vincent Biso Limited for the cost of $8,050 HST included from the Safe Restart Funding Program to complete excavation and removal of 280 feet of culvert and replacement of new culvert on Kennedy's Lane. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Joy. Can I have a seconder?
Deputy Mayor.
Councillor King.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Discussion.
Make a comment there, Mr. Chair. The existing culvert on Kennedy's Lane is extensively deteriorated, and the structural integrity is compromised. The plan is to excavate the existing culvert that is under the road and replace with a new culvert of the same diameter as the existing. That's my comment, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Joy. If there's no other comments, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And all those against? Motion is carried. Next one there, Councillor Joy.
So moving on to 9D2 there, still related to the lower section of Kennedy's Lane. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood approved the purchase of new 280 feet culvert HDPE 210 KPA 30-inch diameter pipe from Molesley for a cost of $13,380.57. HSC included again from the Safe Restart Funding Program. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Joy. Could I get a seconder?
Deputy Mayor.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Discussion. Okay. If no further discussion, move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion's carried. Continue on, Councillor Joy, please.
Okay, this is number 3 there now in the lower section of Kennedy's Lane. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood approve a contract to English Paving Corporation for the purchase of 14,835 HSC included from the Safe Restart Funding Program for a 2-inch compacted asphalt, 280 feet by 15 feet wide, with a swale on one side to complete the project at Kennedy's Lane. So moved.
Moved by
Councillor King.
Councillor Joy. Can I get a seconder?
Councillor King.
Seconded by Councillor King. Discussion? If no discussion, move to a vote. All those in favor?
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Here. I meant to make a comment there. Okay, just to note, by procuring these segments of the contract separately, that's related to Kennedy's lower section of Kennedy Lane, the town would expand their overall reach with infrastructure improvements, ensuring we get the best quality workmanship to provide the most reliable transportation route for residents. The total related to the lower section of Kennedy's Lane is $36,265.57, HSC included, again from the Safe Restart Funding Program. Just want to make that comment.
Okay, thank you, sir. And just so everyone is aware, this Safe Restart funding, this is funding that we announced last week at the last public meeting, and it was dedicated to the Kennedy's Lane project. So now this is motions for us to use that money that was dedicated at the last meeting. So let's move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
And all those against? Motion is carried. Item E, sir.
Item A is the last one here now, and infrastructure is one that we've been discussing for a while, and I'm really pleased to see this to move forward here tonight. The title is PRVs and Emergency Water Source. Be it resolved, the town of Holyrood approved innovative engineering and project management as the prime consultant for project title PRVs and Emergency Water Source for a cost of $19,932.63. So I'll move it and then I'll make a comment.
Moved by Councillor Joy. Can I have a seconder on this motion, please?
Deputy
Councillor
Mayor.
Ganny.
Seconded by Councillor Ganny. Discussion.
Okay, first comment here. This project will provide through pressure reducing valves for the water main and install a filtration system in North Arm so that we can access that water as a water source in the case of an emergency. The prime consultant will complete the preliminary engineering and develop both design and contract documents, complete the tendering process, contract award, and contract administration for the entirety of the project. The funds for this cost is as a result of reallocated project savings on the multi-year capital works. Reliable, safe water is a very important and necessary service for our residents. In an attempt to be prepared for any disruption and or emergency, it is important the town have a plan to answer such emergencies. This project gives us a level of comfort that the town is actually prepared such should a water emergency take place. A lot of reading here. That's my comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Any more comments? Okay, just one comment from myself. So the PRVs are very important for us to have in our system. I'm not currently aware of any we do have, but some of the very high pressure regions we see are at some of the lowest points in town, specifically along the main beach, down by the station diner, that area, Beach Cottage. The pressure we're seeing in the lines there is extremely high. And I believe it's directly contributing to a number of leaks we've had in the past number of years. So getting these PRVs in the correct place is very important. It'll reduce the pressures as required, and if you reduce the pressures, it'll hopefully help extend the life of the infrastructure we have in the ground. So very important piece of infrastructure, and very important that we get them right. That's my comment. So let's move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion's carried. So that's it for Public Works. So next we'll move to Business Development and Marketing. Deputy Mayor, do you have your update?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The Business Development and Marketing Committee met on April the 15th with Mayor Costello, Councillor King, CAO Gary Corbett, Director Marjorie Gibbons, and myself were in attendance. Just a couple of points here. The first point is there were a number of business opportunities which are in the concept stage, and we are providing them with the necessary information to get them to an application stage. Once we have the official applications, we will work with the applicant through the development regulations, and the public will be informed throughout the planning department. Next point is, as our department is responsible for funding opportunities for the town, and as was indicated earlier during the correspondence by the mayor, the $31,755.75 that we got associated with Snowmageddon in 2019. That was a great for the town of Holyrood. And also, we received $15,100 from Canadian Heritage, and that was for Squid Fest. That's the largest amount that we've ever received for Squid Fest, and hopefully we'll see what happens with Squid Fest this year with the pandemic. And but $15,100 was the biggest amount we've ever received, as I just said. But I'd like to say thank you to Marjorie. She did get that money, and also the $31,000 for Snowmageddon. She looked after that file and filed that claims and got that money for us. So I'd like to say thank you to Marjorie on receiving that money. It's a great amount of money for the town of Holyrood, and I'd like to say a big thank you to her. The next one on my list here is the Trail Master Plan is now at an active project, and we are very pleased to inform residents there will be opportunities for the public to contribute to the plan. The proposed date for the public open house is the week of May 3rd to May 7th. Please keep this date in mind, and if you know something to offer, register to make sure you take part. It is an opportunity for every resident who has something to offer to actually have their comments heard and implemented. There will be a registration process, so it is important to check the website for the registration link, which will be added soon. There will also be an online survey found on our town website, April 19th through April 23rd, for residents who wish to offer their suggestions through the source. Again, there will be a need for residents to check the website. This is a great one. We talked about it for a while. This council has a Trail Master Plan, and I think we're headed in the right direction. There's going to be lots of opportunity for residents to give feedback on the Trail Master Plan, and we hope to get some nice trails outlined. So that's something we're looking forward to. And the last one I have here is the boardwalk improvement project remains a priority for the department, and we are hoping that with the appointment of new ministers to their departments in the provincial government, we will get a response on a request for a amendment to the boardwalk project phase 1, which will enable us to start the project soon. So that's the one that was with the cost, the rods and cost of materials went over. So we're just waiting for to hear back from the provincial government on the extra money for that project. So we hope to hear that pretty soon. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for the update. Again, I'd like to ask councillors to let's promote this open house for the trail master plan consultations as much as possible. Let's get as many residents involved as we can, and I believe there's a lot of people around town who know where a lot of great trails are, and also probably willing to pitch in and help us out. So let's let's get that communicated out as best we can, and hopefully we'll get some good attendance at those sessions. Okay, next, moving along to corporate services, Councillor King.
Excuse me. Our bank balance is $1,182.20. And number B from the general account, be it resolved that accounts as tabled in the amount of $161,625.92, number DO 1778 to DO 1793, and check number 041940 to 042023 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King. Can I get a seconder?
Nobody wants to pay the bills.
Councillor
Ganny.
Now we're all fighting. Seconded by Councillor Ganny. Discussion? Okay, if no discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All those against? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor King. Next, we'll do the go around for new business. So I'll run down through my list. Deputy Mayor, first one on the list. Any new business?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of quick points. As you know, as I just said in the Trail Master Plan, I really stress that people keep an eye for the our website for the update there for input on that, because it's going to be very important, and we'll do everything we can to get that information out there. I believe it's a big one, as I said earlier, so I'd like to just stress that to the residents. Also, just talked on the graffiti, as you talked about. Hopefully we'll get this to a conclusion with the RCMP are involved, as you indicated earlier. I don't think it's very appropriate in our town, and hopefully we can put an end to it and find out who's doing it. And also, in the last day or so, it's been on our webpage there about illegal dumping in our town in a couple areas. So hopefully we can zoom in on that and get that issues corrected and rectified too for illegal dumping. And I'd like to say congratulations to the fire department and the members that done their exam there last week. It adds a lot to our fire department and their commitment to Holyrood. So I'd like to say a big congratulations to them. And the last thing, I would like to wish our CAO, Gary Corbett, and their business development marketing, Marjorie Gibbons, who both will be celebrating their birthday tomorrow. So I'd like to wish them a happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I didn't know we had birthdays tomorrow. Who's next on my list here? Councillor Joy.
Yes. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Kevin, or Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Mr. Chair. Okay, so happy birthdays to both of our staff members there. Didn't realize either that it was birthday tomorrow. So just a couple of items there. Just want to note on the gas tax. So I'm very pleased with the recent announcements that we will be receiving a doubling of gas tax monies and funding for 2022, not this year, now next year. We make very good use of this funding and various areas of infrastructure. one, allows for the upgrade of paving and so on. It's just one. It provides for 100% dollars with no cost share required by the town. And was really, that's good news. I don't know the exact amount here, but we'll probably make note of that at future meetings. Item 2, I just want to, as well, I'd like to offer my congratulations to members of our fire department on successfully completing the NFPA 1041 Emergency Professional Instructors Certificate from the Marine Institute. Certainly speaks well for you, the volunteer members, and the commitment they are showing to the fire department. I want to also make note that thanks to Marjorie, our Director of Business and Business Development and Marketing, who supervised those exams. So thank you to all. And thanks, Mr. Chair.
Anytime, Councillor Joy, anytime. Moving along, next one on my list is Councillor Gani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to echo the comments of the previous councillors who spoke in congratulating the fire department. I think that the town of Holyrood can count itself lucky that we have such a dedicated group of fire professionals in our department. They're dedicated, they avail of opportunities to further their careers and to provide even better service than they already do. And I think they should be commended for that. And I'm sure I speak for many of our community when we say we greatly appreciate the work that they do every day and keeping us protected and safe. And also thanks, Marjorie, for overseeing that exam. Happy birthday, Marjorie and Gary. Didn't realize it was your birthdays, but thank you. Happy birthday to both of you. You're great assets to the town. I'd also like to echo Deputy Mayor's comments on the graffiti and the garbage. It's very, very disheartening to see these things. I mean, the graffiti is, in a word, despicable in my mind. I can't condemn it strongly enough. It's making our town look not what it's meant to be. It's terrible behavior, and I truly hope that someone will come forward and give us some information as to who's responsible for these acts. And of course, the trash. Well, I don't understand that at all. Just if people would just not litter, what a lovely community we would have. Finally, the trail master plan consultations with the public. I know we have a lot of avid hikers and outdoors people in our community who I'm sure have a wealth of information to share in developing that plan. I would love to see a very diverse set of plans for this community, for trails and hiking and so on, that would meet the needs of all activity levels. So please, if you can, if you have anything to offer, anything to give, any information to share, please come forward when the time is laid out there. And finally, I do want to just repeat what I said about the crystal dip. Not repeat it, but just it is unfortunate that we aren't able to proceed with that this year. Once we all get hopefully vaccinated and it's a safer environment next year, then we can actually go forward with the crystal dip in aid of the food bank and the little free pantry, because they are great initiatives. But we will proceed with the food bank drive and for the pantry, and hopefully everybody will be able to contribute to that effort. And I just want to thank again the folks who are responsible for the pantry and the food bank, who help keep our residents fed, and to those that need that help, thank you to those who are giving it. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Councillor Gani. Councillor King.
Well, first of all, I wish Marjorie and Gary both a happy birthday. Congratulate our fire people who did the training at the Marine Institute, and Marjorie as well, who helped out in that situation. And I want to speak about the road in front of my place going down the hill here, the whole hill. We had another washout again this weekend, and the amount of gravel on the road, it was unreal. I had a few calls about it. So I sent a message off to Robert yesterday morning, and it must be this morning, I suppose. They put some fill in it. Didn't quite fill it up, but it's only going to take another rain and we're back to square one. So right now, they're just, all the time, they just throw good money after bad. They throw a few forkfuls of soil in there and it's gone the next rain. I don't know why they don't do it right and put a swale there. But anyway, one of these days they'll have to, because we're going to have no road, because every time that washes out now, the water is going under the pavement. So you can imagine where that's going to lead to. So I think we should send off another letter to Highways and ask them to try and do something with this hill, so we won't be in the same situation again. The roads in the community are bad enough, but this takes the cake up here. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor King. So just a few comments from myself. So it kind of ties in with the last point Councillor King had with regards to some of the issues we're having on Route 60. So I'm trying to get a meeting scheduled with the recently re-elected MHA in our district, Miss Helen Conway Ottenheimer. So we were supposed to meet this Friday. She had to delay until next week due to some commitments with regards to the house opening. So definitely, understandable. So the plan is myself, the deputy mayor, and the CEO, we're going to meet with her, and we really need to get her to push for a number of maintenance projects to be completed on Route 60. There's very large sections of pavement in North Arm that's absolutely deplorable. We've got the issues in the hill, which Councillor King just touched on. We've got Mars Bridge, which is full of holes, and we've got very large sections of pavement from basically the Royal Bank to the Seal Cove Holyrood boundary. So until we can make enough noise to get the government to allocate some money, we're going to be left with these deplorable driving conditions. So that's the intention of the meeting with the MHA. She needs to help us push our case out in the House. Hopefully government will be receptive to it, but I'm a firm believer that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and hopefully we can squeak enough in the next few months. So that's the update I had, and I'd like to wish Gary and Marjorie a happy birthday, and don't get too out of control tonight. Just joking. So thanks everybody for attending. So the date of the next meeting is May 4th at 5:30. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Deputy Mayor?
Moved by the Deputy Mayor. Could I have a seconder?
Councillor Ganny.
Seconded by Councillor Ganny. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion is carried. Thanks everyone for attending. As I mentioned, the recording for this Zoom meeting will be available on our website and also on our YouTube channel, and the link can be found on our website. Thanks for attending. Have a good evening, and stay safe.
Thank you.